What's up again, everybody? It's finally time to talk about Monarch. Personally, I've decided to take like a 24-hour period of just letting this announcement that they released yesterday mull over and kind of just percolate within my mind. And so hopefully that pays off and we get some nice deep dive discussion into what we're going to see perhaps in this set. And I think the first place that we just straight up need to start at is this amazing picture behind me. This is, this is literally going to tell you where they're going with regards to this set. This just absolutely screams like Renaissance style painting or fresco, or even you can take it all the way back to like a Greco-Roman frieze if you want to, because it's like harkening back to gods fighting gods, Greek mythology, that sort of a thing, and I absolutely love it. First of all, let me just turn those off. Look, maybe I'll just turn myself off. There we go. Look, just look at it. Just look at that. That is so amazing. And we're gonna look deeper onto this picture at a later date. Maybe we'll just do it later in this video. I don't know. But the fact that this just looks like this just makes me happy. Uh-oh, I can't turn myself back on. What happened? Hold on. Okay, there, I'm back. I was like literally gone in the ether there for a minute, but now we're back. And this picture is insane. So I think when we all assumed we were getting a Monarch set, we assumed that we were getting something about the Kingdom of Soul, about like, maybe there's like some like political intrigue and there's like infighting within the courts, and we're gonna have like a very court-themed set. And we may still get all of that, and that's something I'll talk about a little bit later. We could still very much get that, and this could just be sort of like the spiritual representation of those things that are happening, but I don't think that's the case. I think they're going way bigger and way crazier with it, and that is explained, or I guess supported by the number of cards we're getting in this set. But looking at this picture, we have good versus evil in its purest form, darkness versus light, and I think that's the place they're going to it, and that's going to really change what possible heroes we get, and perhaps if we get new classes, what possible classes they will be presenting to us. This is the perfect time to shout out the maker of this piece, the artist who created this entire thing, and it is a very extensive piece of art. His name's Carlos Palma Cruchaga. He's done art in the game for cards like Unified Decree, which I think is my favorite one that he's done. He did, I think he did Gorganian Tome, and one other one, Talishar, or maybe there's a couple more actually. Talishar is one of them though, and he did this piece as well. I zoomed in here on the two main figures within this piece, as I do believe that at the very least, I think we're going to see some lore connection to this dark dude. I'm trying to mouse over him, but obviously you can't see my mouse. To the dark dude and the light dude. I'm not sure where they're going with it, if we're actually going to see these two characters as heroes, but if we do, that'd be pretty sick. And if I had to bet, then I would bet that the darkness here, the dark figure with the strange spear, is representing, or is the character that is alluded to coming out of this void-like space in the Rune Blade, like in the Viscerai lore page. So if you haven't gone and listened or read to the Viscerai lore page, then you should definitely go do that and check it out what I mean. Basically, if you wanted me to sum it up, there's a bunch of people at the Demonastery that capture and then use Viscerai as a means of opening this gate in a ritual to allow this dark void creature thing that is just very hungry to come into the world. And I'm just betting that this is that person. And if there's a darkness, the foil obviously is the light, and where does the light reside in the world of Wraith? Well, it resides in Soul, so I think we're going to see the embodiment of the light of Soul come and rise up against this embodiment of darkness, of which we don't have a name for yet. I think that's where they're going with this, and again, I do think that is going to alter what I expect to see are going to be some new heroes in this set. Okay, now that brings us to the official product page, product sheet. I don't know exactly what they call it. In fact, I could just scroll down. I think it's listed right here. Product sheet. I was right the second time. Okay, so the product sheet is really cool looking. Obviously, it features the same art here that we saw before. Look, Mr. Skeleton Dude at the top just hanging out, just giving us a smile. Yeah, that may be a thing we see. Maybe we do see Necromancer. Necromancer could make some sense, particularly if this is connected to the Demonastery. So I'm going to go through this part really quick because I'm assuming that you've seen this and perhaps read it. If you haven't, though, I will go ahead and do that for you right now so we can all be on the same page. Monarch releases April 30th. Preview season starts April 6th, and preview season for this game is fantastic. If you haven't been here for a preview season, you're in for a treat. This one's a nice long one. Crucible was a short one. This one's a nice long one. So it's super fun. You wake up every day, you're like, oh man, I want to see what gets spoiled today. So you're going to enjoy yourself there. Pre-release weekend, if we're lucky enough to have that wherever you are, is April 24th to the 25th, which is super cool. And then you get this just really nice little flavor text here. Darkness, the canvas of the universe. Light, the brushstroke. Brushstroke? That's not a word. The brushstroke of creation. A forbidden power hungers to eclipse existence, wiping the canvas clean. The soul of Wraith stands resolute, a ray of hope to the artisans of civilization. That's pretty cool. That's a cool little thing. And just kudos to, I forgot if there was like one person, one woman that works on the lore, or if there's multiple people working on the lore that's like actually putting out like lore entries and like storylines. But whoever it is, they're doing a great job. I love it. I've like listened to everything that they've written, so they're doing a good job. So there's that, and then we get this. Monarch is a standalone booster set introducing 4 new heroes with all new mechanics to play out the classic conflict of light versus shadow across sealed deck, booster draft, and constructed formats. And those are the 3 formats they're mentioning, and those are, we're assuming, the 3 formats that they are pushing with this set. And if that's the case, if we're getting sealed and booster product, or I should say sealed and draft product, then we should change our perspective on what they're trying to achieve when creating this set, and that would affect, again, if we get new classes. For me, this is like the #1 question for this set. Are we getting new classes, or are we getting support for the other 8 classes, and are they doing something interesting with the 4 heroes that we're getting? Because, as this said, we are getting 4 new heroes with all new mechanics. Sound off in the comments below what you think. You can make your vote. Do you think we're getting 4 new heroes and classes? Do you think we're getting 4 new heroes and maybe 2 new classes? Do you think we're getting 4 new heroes but no new classes and we're getting support for all the other ones? I would love to hear your opinions. I'll tell you mine here in a minute after we go down the page. Monarch Booster First Edition is releasing April 30th, as they said right above at the top of the screen. This is the big thing. 307 cards in the set. I'll talk about how that compares to the other ones here in a moment. You're getting the same distribution per pack that we got in Welcome to Wraith, which was the first set, and Arcane Rising, which is the second set. 15 cards and 1 token per pack. Of those, I think you're getting, oh, the numbers are right here. I should just say them. Premium foil, you're getting 1 foil card per pack. It's going to be a rainbow or a cold foil. You're getting a rare or higher, and then you're getting an extra rare. So you basically get a rare, and then you get a rare or majestic slot within that pack. Then you're getting, I think, what is it, like 11 commons? Yep. 1 equipment and 1 token. So the same setup that we got in those first 2 sets, so that you could do sealed and you could do draft with it. But I skipped over this, probably the most exciting part to me that I saw within these distribution numbers, and that's this one. I'm going to scroll just so that you can see it. There we go. 1 Fabled, just like normal. 6 Legendaries. That's really interesting. 31 Majestics. I love in Crucible that we got Majestics instead of Supers. After opening a bunch more Welcome to Wraith and Arcane Rising, I thought to myself, man, I really wish these supers were Majestics that would just feel better when you hit them, and I like that we now have that instead of the super rarity going forward. 79 rares, 13 equipment, 159 commons, and 18 tokens. 6 legendaries is super interesting to me. I'm curious where they're going with it. If we do get new classes, then each of those classes would need a legendary equipment, or I guess precedent is set that each class would get legendary equipment, so that accounts for 4. We've also seen in previous sets one single legendary that is a generic legendary equipment. It's the Spring Tunic, it's the Arcanite Skullcap. I can't find that card. Arcanite Skullcap, I can't find it. And then I guess technically we got a legendary equipment in the form of the reprint of Spring Tunic and Crew, but that leaves one more legendary, and I've seen some people already mention it. I think they're right. I think the other legendary, the 6th legendary, would end up being a legendary hero, and perhaps it's like a legendary young hero like we got with Shiana. That might be really interesting as well, to continue to give us like really interesting gadget heroes in that legendary slot, ones that are really beautiful, that feel very premium, that are top of the line. That's a great way to kind of slip a premium card in there that people, when they get it, are just going to lose their minds, that feel like fables. You know what I mean? I think that's where they're going with it. But they could give us just 2 generic legendary equipments, or if we don't get new classes, they could do some very interesting things, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. Okay, so people have been trying to get their hands on the starter decks from Welcome to Wraith because I guess because they're collector's items for one, but honestly, I actually did enjoy the starter decks for learning how to play the game. After you take the first step of playing with like an Ira Welcome deck, moving to the starter like hero decks was a really cool next step, especially if you just wanted to feel the cards and like feel the turn like structure of the various heroes and how they differed from each other. Well, we're getting those back, but instead of them being 60 card classic constructed decks, we are getting 4 unique Blitz decks this time, which, if you know me, oh my goodness, Blitz decks, let's go. I love Blitz. 40 card deck feels so good. Playing these like shorter rounds, 20 health heroes feels so good, and they're retailing for $12, which is sick. $12 is nice and solid. You pick up all 4 of them and you're just a happy cow. By the way, these boxes, I think the box art is going to stay. Obviously, the question mark is literally just a placeholder because they can't show you what the heroes look like yet, because they're going to hold those back until they can actually reveal those in time during the spoiler season. But I do think the box art is going to stay, and I don't think they're going to change the box art because they paid money for this to be designed, for the box to be designed. I don't think they're going to pay money to design a fake box and then pay to design a real box, unless they just, you know, got someone in-house to go, you know what, just kind of like fake it and let's have some fun. I think this is like the real box, and they're just going to change the picture here on the center. That's my intuition. I've seen some other people talk about how they're going to change the box around a little bit. I don't think they are. I think they're just going to stick with this and then swap the hero onto it going forward. And now we come to a portion of the product sheet that I thought was going to be a little bit different, and I'll talk about why here in a second. Monarch Unlimited will release May 21st, 2021. That's the month of my birth. It'll be a little celebration for me. It's exactly like the distribution for the first edition version of the product, except you will not have cold foils in it. You're going to have rainbow foil versions of the cold foil pieces of equipment, or the cold foil, whatever they put in it, because who knows what they're cold foiling in this one. Whatever it is, I want it. But they're going to do rainbow foil in the unlimited version. And this will release exactly 3 weeks after the first edition product drops. So if, for example, the game just sells out, like day one, allocation everywhere, but the light at the end of the tunnel would be that you'd only have to wait a few weeks for the unlimited product to be accessible. And I do think that releasing this like quickly afterwards is a smart plan. Now, I'll tell you what I expected. I honestly expected, I thought to myself, you know, they maybe they pushed the release of Monarch back a month because it was originally due out in March. Maybe they pushed it back a month because they wanted to synchronize the release of First Edition and Unlimited like by a week. Instead, we got 3 weeks, but that's still really, really close and really, really good. And so I'm hoping that because of that, they'll have the ability to produce enough product for hopefully the demand, which I believe is going to be just ravenous. And I think for good reason, because the game is incredible. And if this set, I guess, even measures up half of what they've kind of talked about, it will be just totally eaten up. And people will just be all over this game, and it will explode again, which is a very, very cool and exciting thing. Okay, so I want to touch back on this point that I mentioned briefly about the size of the set. There's 307 cards in Monarch. That is huge in comparison to all of the other sets. So here's a rundown of the previous sets and their sizes. So in Welcome to Wraith, we had 226 cards. It was a 226 card set, and then that was followed by Arcane Rising with 219 cards in that set, so it dropped a few cards from the set. Then in Crucible of War, we gained 198 more cards from that set, which leads us to Monarch with 307. That is a full 81 cards more than what we got in Welcome to Wraith, which was previously the largest set yet. So this is a very monstrous set, and if we're trying to figure out why that is, one very good argument is that we are going to get 4 new classes, and in order to support those 4 classes to the same degree that we see in all of the previous 8 classes, they would basically need a set and a half worth of cards to match the card pool, if that makes sense. Because obviously in Welcome to Wraith, we got Brute cards and Guardian cards and Ninja cards and Warrior cards, and then we got more of those same classes in Crucible. And the same thing happened in Arcane Rising with those 4 classes plus the cards from Crucible. So if they want 4 more classes in the game to make a total of 12 classes, then you would need to release a large set to jumpstart the card pools in those. Now, the other option, the other possible option, and this one, it makes a little bit less sense, but it's way more spicy, and that's why you're here. Okay, here you go. Here's the crackpot theory of the video. The other option is that the 4 heroes that we're getting are dual class heroes that are 2 light and 2 dark things, like two light and 2 dark heroes representing the battle between dark and light, and they are somehow multi-class type heroes where they can draw upon the I guess perhaps just 2 assigned classes that already exist. So for example, one of the light heroes could draw upon Guardian and Warrior, okay, because both of those have clear pullings towards the light side. Don't sue me, Lucas. Don't do it. You don't own it anyway. It's Disney now. Oh, they're gonna definitely sue me for saying light side. Okay, and then we have the dark side. This video is getting taken down. The dark side would be more represented by I don't even want to say Runeblade because I actually don't believe that, but maybe you could represent it with like Ranger. Probably, I don't know, maybe. And I guess we'll just go with Runeblade. Like they could represent one of the heroes, and so what you would get is this idea of like, this hero can dual class these 2 classes. This hero can dual class the other 2 light classes, and these 2 heroes that we've printed that are brand new can dual class the other dark classes. And at that point, you would be able to maintain 8 classes, and those are the heroes that you would draft or play sealed, and then the class cards of those 8 classes would just be represented in this box. You'd have the representation of 8 different classes, and all of the classes that we see would just get another bump with regards to class card pools. That's another thing they could do. Drafting 8 classes and playing sealed with 8 classes would be a lot more unwieldy than just making 4 new classes and drafting and doing sealed with those, because then you'd have the class cards for only 4 classes instead of 8 full class cards. But again, if you have dual class heroes that can draw upon the card pools of both, then you have some flexibility there. So it's not necessarily that it wouldn't work, it's just that it would be a different experience, one that you with your own opinion would have a, the prerogative to say I like or dislike, but something that I think could function. So we could see that, but that's definitely a crackpot theory. I think it's way easier to just say, hey, we're getting 4 new classes along with 4 new heroes. Nevertheless, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that. Speaking of classes, if we do get 4 new classes, I'm not sure we're going to get things like the Alchemist or I don't know, like the Necromancer. Actually, the Necromancer I could totally see, but like the Alchemist, maybe not so much. Illusionist, maybe, if it's like a light side. What I really feel like they're gonna do is just lean heavy into this like mythological, very ethereal light versus dark, spiritual warfare kind of a feel. And again, I think the reason that we have this just immaculate piece of art behind me alludes to that, is that the direction that they're going is very much that, right? Here I wanted to put it back because just I want to see the scope of this piece of art. I think it's so cool to just look at and kind of like look through. Here, I wonder if I can move it around as we go. No, that would be too hard. Maybe I'll do it in post. How about that? And you see all of these just intricate little details, like we have skeletal horses. You see down in the bottom on the dark side, you actually have dragons, which is very interesting. And there's, oh my gosh, I could sit here forever and talk about like the lore connections that we might see. I was driving home from work and I was thinking about the lore connections. So if you'd like to see that video about the lore and how it could connect to this piece of art, let me know, because I would talk your ear off on that one. That's a possibilities or endless kind of a scenario. There's Pegasus. There's Pegasus's. I don't know how that's I don't know what you would say. Pegasi. I don't know how that's pluralized. Nevertheless, it's such a cool piece of art. I'm looking forward to seeing more of what they have down the pipeline for us. If we're looking at like what kind of classes we may see, I do think we are going to see some dark classes and light classes rather than just kind of the standard ones that we saw them list in the book. We may see a few of those, but I don't think they're going to all be from the book. And I don't think I ever really did, but I definitely don't think they're going to be from that after looking at this picture. So that's what I got for this video. If you'd like to see more stuff on Monarch, leave me a comment down below with what you'd like me to dive into, and I will take a look, see if I can put that together just for you. And it's just for you because I care about you. That's why, okay? If you want me to make you something, I'll do it. I'll do that, okay? It'll be our little thing. It'll be great. Let me know if you like this video. Hit the like and the subscribe. We're inching closer to the goal. I'm not going to put it back up on the screen, but we're getting close to, I think it's 2,700 people liking and subscribing. That's awesome. You guys are the best. As always, everybody, thanks for watching.